Resistance to change. In traditional project management, the project manager is usually seen as the central authority who plans, directs, and controls the project. However, in Scrum, this role is not assigned to any single person. Instead, the responsibilities of the traditional project manager are distributed across three Scrum roles. 1. Product owner, the outward-facing role responsible for engaging with stakeholders and ensuring the project delivers maximum value. The product owner sets the priorities through the prioritized product backlog and defines what needs to be built. 2nd, Scrum Master, the inward-facing facilitator who ensures the team follows Scrum practices, removes impediments, and maintains a productive environment. 3rd, Scrum Team, a self-organizing group that takes ownership of how the work is done, focusing on delivering high-quality increments. This distribution of responsibility enhances agility, encourages collaboration, and promotes a shared ownership mindset. In this continuation of mapping traditional roles to Scrum, we focus on how the responsibilities of a traditional project manager are shared even further across the Scrum roles. First, let's look at the Scrum team. Unlike traditional teams that rely heavily on a project manager for direction, Scrum teams are self-organizing. They manage their own tasks, time, and commitments. This autonomy helps build a strong sense of ownership and accountability within the team. Next, the Scrum Master takes on the facilitative duties traditionally associated with a project manager. The Scrum Master removes impediments that may slow down the team, guides the team in following Scrum values and process, and acts as a servant leader rather than a directive authority. So, while there is no direct project manager role in Scrum, its responsibilities are distributed and redefined to create a more collaborative, empowered working environment. An important part of Scrum's success lies in actively involving stakeholders throughout the project. To do this effectively, it's important to first establish a working agreement with all stakeholders. This agreement helps define how stakeholders will collaborate, communicate, and participate in the project. It sets clear expectations for interaction, decision-making, and engagement. Another key element is to continually monitor project changes. As the project evolves, the set of stakeholders involved may also change. New people or departments may become relevant, while others might step back. It's the responsibility of the product owner and Scrum Master to ensure that new stakeholders are identified and engaged appropriately, so that there are no gaps in communication and support throughout the project lifecycle. Beyond identifying and involving stakeholders, maintaining their engagement is crucial throughout the life of a Scrum project. One of the primary responsibilities of the Scrum team, especially the product owner, is to regularly communicate team progress and development capabilities. This helps stakeholders make informed decisions related to scope, timeline, and cost. Transparent updates help them adjust priorities and understand the project's direction more clearly. Another key point is to manage stakeholder expectations effectively. This involves clearly discussing and aligning on what is minimally acceptable, what is most likely, and what is the optimal outcome. It's important to deliver these expectations with accuracy and precision, so stakeholders feel confident that the project's outputs will truly support their business objectives. This trust and clarity prevent future dissatisfaction or surprises. As organizations shift from traditional project management methods to agile practices, the transition to Scrum marks a significant cultural and structural change. This slide represents the idea that such a transition is not just about new tools or terminology, but about embracing a mindset of collaboration, adaptability, and trust. Notice the image on the left. Two figures walking arm in arm. This symbolizes the team unity and support required during this shift. People are no longer working in silos. They work together toward shared goals, adapting along the way. On the right side, you see a conversation between two individuals. That's what Scrum encourages: face-to-face, transparent, and frequent communication. Teams, managers, and stakeholders must engage regularly to ensure alignment and clarity as they adapt to the Scrum way of working. Overall, transitioning to Scrum is not just a process change, it's a people change. It demands patience, training, and a supportive environment where teams are encouraged to self-organize and learn by doing. Maintaining executive support is critical to the success of any Scrum initiative. Executives are not just stakeholders. They are enablers who provide resources, alignment, and strategic direction. To ensure their continued support, regular and transparent communication is key. We must keep them informed about project progress, what's working well, upcoming milestones, and especially any risks or issues that may impact delivery timelines. When executives are updated in real time, they are far more likely to respond constructively and supportively, rather than being caught off guard later. In short, by being proactive in our communication, we foster trust and confidence, which helps ensure continued executive sponsorship and commitment throughout the Scrum lifecycle. When proposing a transition to Scrum, it's essential to recognize what executives care most about: clarity, value, cost, and risk. We begin by addressing why Scrum. Executives need to see the business value. Scrum isn't just a process change, it's a shift toward delivering value faster, being more responsive to change, and reducing waste. It helps the organization avoid losses due to delays, scope creep, or rigid planning. Executives also expect clarity on how agility translates into measurable results: faster feedback loops, earlier ROI, better alignment with market needs. Then come the critical logistical concerns. What will this transition cost? How long will it take? And what do the best-case, expected, and worst-case scenarios look like? We also need to define milestones. What early signs of success or check-in points can we show as we progress? Ultimately, the goal is to show executives that we are not just embracing agility for the sake of it, but because it's a strategic necessity in today's fast-paced, uncertain business environment. When gaining executive support for a Scrum transition, one of the key concerns is ongoing visibility and control. Executives often ask, how frequently will they be updated? The answer is, Scrum encourages regular touchpoints. We recommend bi-weekly or monthly executive briefings, aligned with the sprint review schedule. This keeps leadership in sync with progress, risks, and value delivery, without micromanaging. Next, we must be transparent about risks: resistance to change from teams, misalignment between Scrum practices and current organizational culture, inadequate Scrum training or coaching, unclear ownership or weak product ownership. For each of these, we identify mitigation strategies. For example, resistance can be managed through change management sessions and workshops. Cultural alignment may need executive reinforcement and clear role definitions. Training gaps can be addressed via certified Scrum trainers or internal enablement plans. Of course, each mitigation has a cost and time implication. As part of planning, we need to show estimated mitigation costs, e.g., training, tools, coaching, time buffer for ramp-up and adoption. This level of detail builds trust and transparency and ensures executives understand that while risk exists, we have a structured plan to address it.